And by Interstate Batteries. Over 200,000 dealers nationwide. Find one at interstatebatteries.com. And back inside the rack, we're all set to go. Rutgers and Marquette, along with John Celestin, Mike Gleason here. John Celestin, a guy who grew up in Piscataway, went to Villanova. We'll talk more about that. How about your Star Watch, buddy?
Well, Jarrell McNeil, you're going to have to watch out for this guy. He's been shooting the basketball, as you see, 7 for 7. And when you're talking about shooting the basketball, Mike Rosario is one of the best young guys in the conference at that. He can score it. He can go up the dribble. Let's see what he can do tonight.
And let's take a look now. Tonight's starting lineups brought to you by Interstate Batteries. First of all, for the Golden Eagles of Marquette, Dominique James, Jarrell McNeil, Wesley Matthews, all came in as freshmen. They're all seniors. They're all averaging in double figures, as is Lazar Hayward. Dwight Burke, the senior from Brooklyn, played at St. Benedict's. He's in there for rebounding prowess. And, of course, the Rutgers, they come in at 9-6, 0-2. You see Mike Rosario averaging 17. Gregory Echenike, about 8.7 rebounds, and Hamidi Njai leading the block parade with 53 already this year. And Buzz Williams in his first year as the head coach of Marquette. Buzz Williams off to a great start, holding on to the number 15 ranking, of course. And he gets ready to combat Fred Hill. Fred Hill, the head coach in his third year of the Scarlet Knights at Rutgers. All right, John, we take a look at this team. Marquette comes in with a 13-2 record. Not a lot of beef inside as we take a look at the officials as well. So does Rutgers try to pound it inside early?
Well, I think it's going to be a matchup of the guards first and foremost. I mean, Rosario's going to have to score the basketball. We're going to see if Farmer can control Dominique James. Obviously, Rutgers has a decided advantage on the inside, and I don't think that that's really their game.
This is Dominique James with the basketball. Wes Matthews averaging 19 points a game. Said he's going to be more unselfish this year. Outside shot, banks it in, and that's a rare bucket for Dwight Burke.
And how about Dwight Burke coming out, showing you he can stroke the jumper, but I think a nice setup by Hayward. He can pose a matchup problem. He can face up and go off the dribble as well.
You know, John, Burke came in with 15 shots in 15 games. That's, what, an average of 1. I know I'm not that good in math. They wanted him to shoot the basketball more, and there's a charge. And the charge goes against Corey Chandler, who's back in the starting lineup for Rutgers. First.
And we talked in the open about Jarrell McNeil, how great he's been shooting the basketball, but this guy is one of the best defenders in the Big East. He can take charges, and he can really get up in you off the dribble.
And speaking of defenders for Marquette, Dominique James doing a great job on Scotty Reynolds of Villanova, and he kept Deontay Vaughn of Cincinnati scoreless for the first time in his career. The shot doesn't go down by Hayward. It's knocked out of bounds. It's Rutgers basketball. 2-0. Marquette leads it. Marquette coming in averaging about 82 points a game. And Rutgers at 9-6, they average about 66.
And I think Farmer's going to be a big key tonight if he can set things up for the Scarlet Knights and run the show. And as you see right there, a turnover by the Scarlet Knights.
Well, Fred Hill telling us earlier that's the game plan. Go inside to Echenike early. Jumper James doesn't go. Rebound. Njai goes high for the board. You're seeing more and more offense up Njai this year.
Well, Njai right now, you know, he's more of a defender. He's a nice move right there by Echenike. He's more of a defender. He's a guy who wants to block shots, a big body in the post. But on the offensive end, I think he has a ways to go, but he can get there if he works hard.
See those losses to Dayton and Tennessee, both games, Marquette was out-rebounded as Matthews gets his first bucket. How surprising is that Matthews comes in averaging about 19? He was probably the unsung hero of the three for the first couple of years.
Yeah, very unsung, and I always thought he had the talent. I thought he could do this 1 or 2 years ago. He's very good off the dribble. He's long, he can rebound, and he gets to the line and he gets fouled.
NJ trying to back his man down. Good ball movement that time. Chandler deep in the corner. That's a 3-ball for Corey Chandler, his 12th of the year.
And Chandler's key. He's a guy, if he gets going early, he can be really good for the Scarlet Knights.
Burke hits it back outside. Hayward, the Buzz Williams saying he might be the best shooter on the team. He hasn't shown it this year, but...
And that's a weapon when you have a shooter, a guy at the 4 position that can face up, take big guys out top.
There's a block on Burke, Dwight Burke, the 6'8", 250-pounder from Brooklyn, New York. And you look at Rutgers, of course, 9-4 non-conference play. What do you think Fred Hill was looking for as far as that non-conference schedule?
Well, I think he was trying to get his team prepared for the Big East, but, you have to be careful when you're scheduling that non-conference, especially in this conference, because you have so many tough teams in conference. You don't want to go a little bit crazy.
Rosario, this is Chandler off the dribble looking for Rosario. Loses the basketball. Dominic James, and the reaching foul by Rosario.
And when you're talking about non-conference play, I remember back my junior year, we had Tim Tompkins my sophomore year, and he went off to the NBA. The next year we had Duke, we had Kentucky, all these guys on the schedule, and we weren't as strong as we were the year before, and we ended up taking a lot of L's.
I guess you never know, huh? You just never know. Marquette, of course, back-to-back trips to the NCAAs, but only once getting beyond the first round. He lost to Stanford as Brooke Lopez hit his shot with 1.3 seconds to go. The foul's on Greg Echenike, the 6'9", 260-pound freshman who just turned 18.
So he's a young guy, and he played for Dan Hurley at St. Benedict's Prep here in Newark, New Jersey. Coach Hill doing a good job bringing in a lot of the talent out of New Jersey now.
Burke with the spin in the left hand. Wow. During the shoot-around, they said they were not getting enough mileage out of this young man. He's got 4 now.
And how about Burke showing up right here? Posting up, hit an early jumper, breaking out of his shell tonight.
He's showing up big time. This is Rosario looking inside. Echenike couldn't find the handle. Marquette in transition. Dominic James with the flush, his first bucket.
And how about James? He's always been athletic. He can get up there and punch it, showing you the athleticism. And I think Njai may be hurt on the other end.
Yeah, it looks like he's grimacing, the big 6'11" junior. Let's take a look at Marquette now, their last 2 buckets.
And you see the nice pass and a nice spin move, putting Njai in the blender right there, Mr. Burke, and the nice pass up court, and you think Dominic James is going to lay it up, and then he turns it over and punches it with the flush.
And speaking of turnovers, Rutgers already leading, or behind, I should say, in that category, 4-0 now. Rutgers turning it over 4 times. They come in averaging about 15 turnovers a game. And we saw that flush by Dominic James, John. Last year, Marquette in Milwaukee rolled over this Rutgers team by 30, 78-48. 35-4 in fast break points. They dominated.
Yeah, they're very quick. They're a little bit of an undersized team. But as you see Njai getting up, and he looks to be okay. But they're an undersized team. But what they do is they get up in you. They swarm you like bees. They play up tempo. Let's see what happened to Njai. Seems like, he catches a little elbow right there by Echenike right in the head on the temple right there. And that's a tough place to get hit. Ask any boxer.
I don't know. Every time I asked a boxer about it, they didn't want to talk about it.
Maybe they couldn't remember.
Farmer, nice pass inside. And they can't find the handle. Looking for J.R. Inman. It stays with Rutgers. J.R. Inman, leading scorer and rebounder the last 2 years, now coming off the bench for this team.
And you see Inman right there. Nice pass by Farmer. They like to run that little play where Inman uses the reverse dribble, and then they duck in either Echenike or they dunk it Inman right there. Inman wasn't able to handle the pass.
Rosario trying to get something going off of the dribble. Rosario averaging 17 points. Scoreless so far. This is Farmer, and he's picked. McNeil, who had 64 steals his rookie season, gets the pick. Matthews, excuse me. McNeil with the shot doesn't go down. Stays with Marquette. So we're going to take a timeout. 15:55 to go here in the first half from Piscataway. Marquette by 3, 8-5. Marquette by 3 with 15:55 to go. John, you look at Rutgers playing at home. Of course, the students are out, so it's not a full house, but they've got to take care of the rock.
Yeah, you definitely have to, take care of each possession. I mean, if 8 possessions already, Rutgers has 5 turnovers. They're last in the league in assist-to-turnover ratio and last in the league in turnover margin, so something that they have to address. You cannot give the ball to a quick, feisty Marquette team.
There's Fred Hill, 10-19 his first year, 3-13 in the Big East, 11-20 last year, 3-13. But willing to get brick by brick, block by block, player by player, and the bucket doesn't go by Hayward again. He's 0 for 2.
And I think if you're Rutgers right now, you have to find a way to get your freshman guard Rosario off right here.
Rosario with 26 against North Carolina, 22 against Pittsburgh, just 2 of 13 against UConn. So UConn a little bit longer, more athletic. Chandler deep in the corner. He's already got 1 3. Echenike, we're down to 10 on the shot clock. This is what Marquette wanted to do, push him way out. 3 on the shot clock. They're not going to get this one off. Farmer fires, and shot clock violation. Another turnover by Rutgers.
And when you're talking about Marquette, obviously they're a very good defensive team, but they're a very physical team. I mean, I saw a couple of their practices when Tom Crean was there, and now when Buzz Williams was there. They use football pads, they hit you. They're going to be very aggressive, and they're going to get after you.
Tom Crean probably used more set plays, though, right? Buzz Williams playing a little more freestyle.
A little more free in the open court.
Shot doesn't go Hayward, and it's pulled down by J.R. Inman. Inman averaging about 12.7 rebounds the last 2 games, about 6 points this year. Fred Hill, John, was saying that J.R. is content, but he could probably use a little bit more scoring mileage out of him.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure about content, but I'm sure he's going to do what he can do for the team. But J.R. Inman is a guy who's been here since his 4th year. He's a senior, had a really good freshman year, and Chandler did as well, and he knocks down the jumper, the sophomore. He's a guy that has to get going. He's very shifty off the dribble, and a nice dish right there by James.
How about the left hand by number 12, Dwight Burke? He's got 6. He leads all scorers right now.
But as I was saying about Chandler, he's a guy, he's shifty. He can get to the basket. He can create a problem. He just has to be a little more safe with the basketball sometimes.
Chandler out of Newark Eastside High School. All-rookie team last year as a freshman.
Nice basketball tradition at Eastside High School. They also produced Randy Foy, who played at Villanova now with the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Well, you know what? I think he's feeling it. Ringing up, that's a 2-ball, but he has 8 points in the ball game now.
And Chandler said, hey, I'll show you. I'll get busy.
8 points, John. He's averaging 7.5. Dominique James misfires. Rebound, Rosario. We're tied at 10. 13:40 to go in the first half here from Rutgers. Rosario deflected that time. Again, it's McNeil on the defensive end.
And I think that shot by Rosario may have been a frustration shot, not able to get some good looks. Takes a quick one in transition.
Off the dribble, Matthews. Nice soft touch. Wes Matthews now with 4.
And I tell you what, if you're not impressed with the way Matthews has been playing this year, you just don't know basketball. I mean, he's really getting it done, close to 20 points a game, and has a basketball body, long arms. He can do it all.
Not a bad lineage. His mother, part of the Wisconsin Hall of Fame. His dad, of course, played at Wisconsin. Played 9 years in the NBA. Rosario with the spin. Gets his pocket picked. McNeil with the left hand. He scores.
You see, you think his name is McNeil, but they call him McSteal out there at Marquette. He can make it happen.
Well, he had 64 steals as a rookie, 76 as a sophomore, 76 again last year. Let's take a look at Matthews.
And watch the steal right here. McNeil will take it coast to coast and lay it up using the left hand. Very adept at stripping guys off the basketball. Gets after you, man. I was really impressed with McNeil, how he stepped up last year. Obviously, Dominic James was the guy for the first 2 years that everybody talked about, but McNeil steadily got better and really showed up in the Big East tournament. Showed up towards the end of the year last year, and you see right now, Rutgers already 7 turnovers. They're averaging 15.3.
And that's preventing them from their game plan because look at those numbers right there, John. Rutgers wanted to pound the paint early.
Yeah, and they only have 2 points in the paint. And, you know, that's going to be a problem when you're playing against a team like Marquette. They're not big. We said this before, but they're very quick, and they can get their hands in the passing lane, get their hands on basketballs. And if you can't take care of the basketball, you can forget about pounding it inside to Echenique.
Well, right now, Rutgers getting outscored in the paint 12-2. Dwight Burke, the senior out of Brooklyn, his 6 points in the first half. That matches a season high for him. Echenique trying to bring the bigs outside a little bit. Benjai's been on the bench since he was down with the injury. There's another steal by Marquette. Transition, they had some numbers, and they get the bucket.
And when they get out in transition like that, it's all she wrote. I mean, there's nothing you can do. I mean, they're stripping these guys every time they go to the basket. The Rutgers guards have to be a little bit more strong when they're picking up the dribble.
That bucket by Jimmy Butler was his first. He averaged about 18 points a game at Tyler Junior College. First recruit for Buzz Williams. By Coburn now, trying to get something going. Coburn, Fred Hill saying they could probably use some scoring mileage from him as well. He's hit some big shots this year, but averaging only about 4 points a game.
Yeah, he's struggling this year, and Coburn's a guy last year who really had a good freshman year. He was scoring the basketball, had some promise.
Well, 11:49 to go. We're going to take another timeout here from Rutgers. Marquette by 6. Fred Hill trailing 16-10. 11:49 to go, 16-10. Marquette up by only 6. But really, it's kind of surprising because a lot of turnovers in the game.
Yeah, and all the turnovers have been off strips. I'm off the basketball. They're not stealing the basketball. They're not getting their hands in the passing lane, but these are all strips. Guys are getting inside, and the quick hands of Marquette giving the Scarlet Knights problems. Every time they drive in the paint, you see another one stripped off the basketball, have to secure that ball and grip it a little tighter when you get inside.
You know, John, we go back and look at Rutgers, the fact that they played the number 1, 2, and 3 teams in the country. You look at their first half versus the second half. I know this is a young basketball team. They were shooting combined in those 3 games 51% in the first. That dipped to 28% in the second. Three-point territory about 38%, all the way down to 19%. Is that fatigue? Is that youth? Immaturity? What is it?
Well, I think it's youth. I think it's, you know, a young team not being able to finish games. And when you get down to that second half, that's when you have to really focus and run your sets. And I think as the team gets better and, you know, better players come to Rutgers and they get more experience, they'll be able to do that.
Well, we have the 5, 6, and 7 scorers in this ball game. Matthews is number 5, McNeil number 6, and Rosario 7th in the Big East Conference in scoring early in the Big East campaign. 11:35 to go in the first half. 16-10. Marquette on top. Marquette, the second highest scoring team in the Big East behind Notre Dame.
You know, when you look at this basketball game so far, you look at all the turnovers that Rutgers has, and right there, the first turnover for Marquette. You know, Rutgers is fortunate to be in this ball game. They're only down 6 points, and I think that's because Rutgers is not a bad team defensively either. They may not have the steals and haven't forced the turnovers, but they do play solid defense in the half court.
You know, John, as Fred Hill puts this program back together, you can see, I mean, guys that started like J.R. Inman coming off the bench. Farmer takes it to the rack. He gets the bucket. Farmer's first. He comes in averaging just under 10. You can see him getting better and better, but when you're playing in a conference like the Big East, it's got to be so frustrating.
Yeah, this is a conference you're going to take your lumps, and you know there's no mercy when you're trying to build a program in this conference. You can best believe that. You got Syracuse one night, Georgetown, UConn, Notre Dame. Come on, man. It doesn't stop. Villanova, Marquette, Pittsburgh.
There's 16 teams that can beat you on any given night, really.
That's right.
I mean, St. John's knocking off Notre Dame. Notre Dame turns around, beats Georgetown. 44 straight at home now. This is Njai back in the ball game. Missed the shot, but he's fouled, so he'll be going to the line. Let's take a look at that top 25 again in the Big East, and 9 in the top 25. And of course, if you're going to have 9, you might as well have number 1.
I mean, look at this. Pittsburgh is number 1 their first time in school history, and those guys, they can really get after you. But I mean, look at this. I would hate to be a coach in this league. I mean, you cannot sleep. There's not a night where you can take a day off and say, hey, okay, this is a gimme. You can forget about it.
There are no gimmies, huh? You know, it's funny you say that because Fred Hill said this league is probably for the players and the fans because it's really not conducive for coaching.
I mean, you're going to lose a lot of hair in this league. If you do have hair, you're going to grow a lot of grays. I mean, you look at a team like Louisville, 21 in the country, but this is a team that could be a top 2 or 3 team in the country. They were ranked that high coming into the year. I mean, they can beat anybody in this conference.
Yeah, UConn and Louisville picked 1-2. Pittsburgh 3rd. Now Pittsburgh sitting on top. Jimmy Butler doesn't go. Butler said he's got to become more aggressive, though, because after averaging 18 points a game in junior college, he's got guys like Dominique James telling him, be aggressive, shoot the ball. The 3 seniors, we don't have to do all the scoring.
Yeah, and sometimes when you come to a team that has guys that are already established, as you see right here, Njai setting his feet and taking the charge, you kind of don't want to rock the boat. But sometimes when you change your game and you don't play the game you're used to, it hurts you.
Last fall, Marquette goes against Jimmy Butler. Junior college transfer. Butler comes up with a basketball, another steal. That's 10 steals now, or turnovers rather. Dominique James thought about it. Wesley Matthews, hop, skip, and a jump, lost control.
And the crowd wanted something right there. It didn't look right. I'm not sure what the call was, but and what a nice pass.
Boy, very unselfish team, huh? This one goes out of bounds, and it stays with Marquette, much to the chagrin of the Rutgers crowd.
And that's the thing about Marquette, man. You have so many guys that can go off the dribble, so many guys that can dish the basketball, and James and McNeil, Matthews. They don't seem like they care which guy takes the shot or which guy gets the glory.
A lot of dribble penetration too, John, and with this shot blocking team of Rutgers, I don't think we've seen a block so far tonight. So good penetration, good feed inside. Hazel with a little elbow action offensively, and we're coming back the other way.
And we're talking about not seeing blocks, but I think Rutgers is doing such a good job in the help. I mean, Marquette's getting in the teeth of the defense, but Njai is back there. He has his hands up. Marquette not getting off that many shots to be blocked.
Another home. Oh, I'm sorry, John, go ahead.
Rutgers doing a good job in the help.
I was going to say Hazel, another homecoming of sorts, sophomore out of Queens, New York. Of course, Al McGuire used to recruit heavily on the East Coast during his glory days at Marquette. Al McGuire used to say if he recruited a kid in New York, if he had grass, he wasn't going to recruit him.
Yeah, you can forget about grass in NYC. The 5 boroughs, maybe over in Staten Island.
Rosario still looking for his first bucket. Here's McNeil with a left hand, doesn't go. And there's the whistle, and it goes against Marquette. Looks like Hayward again.
And if you're Marquette, you have to be a little weary. A little weary of Rutgers. You're letting these guys hang around, and the longer the Scarlet Knights hang around, the more they start to become confident.
Well, golf fans and golf pros, registration for the 2009 ESPN National Golf Challenge is already underway for courses and teams in the gross, net, and new 55 and older division. For more information, log on to ESPNGolf.com. Not exactly golfing weather here in Piscataway today.
Oh, no, it's raining pretty bad out there.
Cold, dreary rain. Chandler takes it down the lane, and a blocking foul goes against Marquette. It goes against Patrick Hazel, a 6'7" sophomore.
You see a lot of guys hitting the deck in this game. I mean, this is the Big East Conference, but I think two good defensive teams that really help off the basketball. So you see a lot of guys stepping in, trying to take charges.
Hazel picks up his second already, and Chandler goes to the line. He's a 70% shooter. He's got 9 points now. Averaged 10.5 points in league play last year as a freshman.
You know, I play a lot of pickup basketball. I'm from right here in Piscataway, New Jersey. I come over to Rutgers and play with the guys in the summer. Chandler's a guy who can give you problems off the dribble. Trust me, I was trying to guard him sometimes. He's really quick. He can go. Just has to be a little more efficient with the basketball.
Well, you were from Piscataway. You won a championship in this gym. You didn't go here, yet they allow you inside, huh?
Yeah, I sneak in through the back door.
18-14, Marquette by 4. Hayward, baseline, he gets it to go. I'm not sure how he did it, but he got it.
Hey, what kind of move was that? A little reverse right there by Hayward. He's 72 points away from reaching his 1,000th for his career.
Chandler outside, he's feeling it now. Rebound, Hayward.
And those are the type of shots from Chandler that I think he has to work on. Sometimes rush shots, guys are all over him.
Maurice Acker in at point guard right now for Marquette. Jump ball. Possession arrow pointing towards Rutgers. And timeout is called. Marquette uses theirs. 7:57 to go before halftime. 20-14. Marquette by 6 over Rutgers. Rutgers trying to snap a 3-game skid. They'd won 6 of 7. And then listen to this. Number 1 North Carolina, 97-75. Roy Williams was impressed, especially with Mike Rosario as he dropped 26 on Carolina. They lost to number 3 Pitt, 78-72. They forced Pittsburgh out of man-to-man into a zone, which Jamie Dixon rarely plays. And once again, Rosario had 22. Then against UConn, 80-49. I guess they just kind of fell apart in the second half.
Yeah, and I did that UConn game. It seemed like they ran out of gas a little bit, but you know, everybody's talking about the 1, the 2, and the 3 matchup, but look at this. Then you have to play Marquette tonight, and then you go and Syracuse comes in here, and Syracuse with Johnny Flynn and the 2-3 zone, still a problem. So we all focus on the first 3 teams, but it really doesn't get much easier with Marquette and Syracuse. This is the Big East Conference.
Yeah, Syracuse 14-1. The only loss was that prayer when Cleveland State hit that half-court shot. Open man, Maurice Acker. In and out, the Ball State transfers. First shot doesn't go. Another offensive rebound for Marquette. Find the open man. McNeil, 7 for 7 from that range against Cincinnati. That is amazing.
I mean, unbelievable when you get hot like that. Rosario with the tough 3-pointer right there.
Probably rushed that one a little bit, huh?
Yeah, at this point, you know, Rutgers is trying to find a way to get open shots. It's just not happening because Marquette is such a sound defensive team.
There's a reach. It goes against Rutgers. Yeah, Rosario, we mentioned his shooting against UConn. Hold that thought. We'll come back and talk about the freshman from St. Anthony's. 7:18 to go. 6-point game. 2014 Marquette. The Scarlet Knights trailing by 6, 20-14 all season long. Champion Apparel will be showcasing the tradition and history of the Big East Conference. Tonight, let's take a look at how Rutgers University came to their nickname, the Scarlet Knights. The school originally called Queens College. Teams called them the Queensmen. In 1925, a mascot was created based on the campus symbol of a chanticleer, a fighting bird. While some felt the name had the connotation of chicken, the name and the mascot stuck for 30 years. In the 50s, to promote the Rutgers fighting spirit, a campus-wide selection process changed the name to a knight. In 1955, they were the Scarlet Knights. The scarlet-clad knight on a white charger represented a new era, the rejuvenation of a first-class football program on the bench. Champion, it's how you play.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that they changed the name. I don't think you want to be associated anything with a chicken as a sports program. I mean, come on.
Well, Matthews gets his 6th point a little bit too easy on the inbounds play that time. A little spin move down on the baseline, 22-14. And speaking of a football program, hats off to Greg Schiano and that Rutgers starting 1-5, and boy, were they on a roll.
Yeah, they could have packed it in. I mean, they really stepped it up, and Mike Teal started to really play some good football, and Mike Rosario showing you he wants to start playing some good basketball, getting to the rim.
Number 3 scoring freshman in the country, his first bucket. Matthews off the dribble. High, nice shot.
I mean, that's what you call a finger roll. I mean, high off, and Matthews liking it, smiling a little bit. That's a playground shot right there.
Yeah, 6'11" Njai. Hamidi Njai just kind of had that look on his face like, wow. Yeah, compliments to you.
I mean, there's a couple ways to attack a shot blocker. Either you go into his body or you come in and you throw the teardrop like Matthews did out of Madison, Wisconsin.
Marquette, one of 6 Big East teams with 4 returning starters this year. Big East with 20 of their top 25 scorers coming back. Echenike hasn't been too active tonight. Farmer on the drive and the whistle and the foul. It's going against Rutgers.
And I'm not sure about that call. I think the Marquette defender was a little bit too far in the paint, but I think that's a good move by Anthony Farmer. I think he has to be more aggressive. He's trying to orchestrate this offense, but they need his scoring punch. They need him to put the ball in the basket and score about 15 to 16 points. He's strong, he's quick, and he's been around.
Marquette 22 of the 24 points down in the paint. So the big shot blockers not doing their job, keeping Marquette away. And the foul goes against Anthony Farmer, his 2nd.
And Dominic James, another guy who's been around for a while in his senior year. Very athletic point guard. Was more of a scorer in his first couple of years, but right now he's really dishing the basketball. He's 4th among Division I active players in assists with 563. 9th in the career points at Marquette.
It's a great point you bring up that he was a scorer more so. Seems like he's trying to be more of an all-round player right now. Not only with assists, but on the defensive end as well.
And he's 3rd in the conference in assist-to-turnover ratio. And another good play by Njai. And this is what we talk about Njai. Not really a scorer, but he's the guy, he's the defensive backbone of this Scarlet Knights defense. And watch him right here. Get in position, set his feet. Big fella takes the charge. And one of the toughest plays in basketball to take a charge. Takes a lot of guts, man.
I spent some time on Big East Media Day with Njai. Very, very personable young man. I asked him if I was picking a team and I needed a shot blocker, do I go with him or the beat? He just smiled at it. He said, you know what? He's bigger than me, but I'd go with me.
Well, yeah, I would hope you pick yourself, show the confidence, but I'd go with either guy, man. Either guy can erase or delete shots.
Well, the foul's going inside on Chris Otule, the 6'10", 245-pound freshman from Richmond, Texas, getting some playing time.
And you see, it's not just Njai here, it's also Echenike. I mean, the freshman has 40 blocks, and Rutgers, one of the top shot blocking teams in the nation.
Echenike misses the free throw, and here comes Marquette on the move. Well, McNeil lost control. Looked like he had bent his ankle at first. Boy, they could ill afford to lose that young man. Rosario deep in the corner. Chandler with the offensive rebound. It still won't go down. Here comes Marquette again. Inside 5 minutes. Matthews charge. Blocking foul goes against Rutgers. Farmer picks up 3 quick ones now.
And I think another tough call right there. I think I have to see the replay right here, but let's see. The nice bounce pass by James, and that's really, really tough. Thank God for replay. Let's see if his feet are set right here. Gets there now. I think it's a good call. I take it back. Good call. And a good attempt right there by Farmer, but just didn't give the defender enough time to go up. You can't come under the defender when you're trying to grab a charge. You have to be there already.
Matthews now with 9 points in the ball game, shooting 84% from the line. So Matthews and Rosario, 2 of the top free throw shooters in the conference. Rosario right now for a rookie, he's #1 in the Big East. And Matthews, he's on a roll right now.
Matthews didn't get the job done all year for Marquette. I mean, this guy, he gets fouled. I mean, he's 3rd in school history in free throws made.
I was talking to Fred Hill about Rosario's a poor shooting night against UConn. This one's partially blocked. Boy, Marquette's got the running shoes on tonight, don't they? Jimmy Butler. This one's rejected, but first the whistle on the foul. And Fred Hill says, you know, he might have been 3 of 16 or whatever, but I want him to keep shooting. But if there's one thing about the young freshman, sometimes he wants it so bad, sometimes he tries to do too much.
Exactly. I mean, you know, he's coming from a big-time program in St. Anthony's where I think they went undefeated last year. He's coming to a program where they're trying to build something, and, you know, he wants to do it for his team, but have to realize in this Big East Conference, you're going to need 5 guys. And sometimes you have to let the game come to you, and give UConn credit as well. I mean, they're one of the best teams at getting in you, forcing you to take tough shots. They're always up there in field goal percentage defense, and, you know, they didn't give Rosario a good look at the basket that night.
Well, it seems like of all the teams, they are long and lean, UConn is. There's Rosario coming off the screen, knocks it down.
And right there, he shows you he has to just keep working. And he's great at moving without the basketball. Reminds me of Kerry Kittles when he was here at Villanova. And James coming right back, showing you, hey, forget about Rosario. I can get to the rim, too.
James, runner-up for Mr. Basketball his senior year in Indiana, although he averaged 31 points a game. High school ball, what's your highest average there, John?
Well, I didn't get 31 points a game. I was knocking down about 20 points, but we were blowing guys out. I was out in the 4th quarter. Piscataway High School, stand up, baby.
State championship game here, was it tight?
No, we blew out Teaneck High School about 15 points.
Well, traveling music that time by Chris O'Toole. And it'll be Rutgers basketball with 3:33 to go, 30-20. Marquette's opened up a 10-point lead. We're going to step away. .333 to go before halftime, 30-20. Marquette on top of Rutgers. Tonight's Big East Coaches Spotlight is brought to you by Oppenheimer Funds, the right way to invest. Let's take a closer look now at Rutgers head coach Fred Hill. And Fred Hill says this is the school where he belongs, but he's certainly paid his dues, hasn't he?
Oh, yeah, he's been around. He was a Marquette assistant, you see, from 86 to 88. Spent some time at Villanova. I mean, he's really paid his dues in the coaching fraternity and trying to get it done here at Rutgers. I think he's the guy, man. I mean, he has all the New Jersey ties. You know, you're bringing in guys like Rosario, Echenike. New Jersey is a place with a lot of basketball talent. And I tell you what, if Fred Hill can't get him to come here, nobody can.
Keep working the turnpike, right? Recruiting that turnpike.
Recruiting the turnpike, baby.
Now, Fred Hill, he was the acting head coach in February of '06, and he beat Marquette 91-84. It was a snowstorm. They said there were about 300 people inside the rack. As a matter of fact, Marquette, after losing the ball game, had to stay here and practice at Rutgers the next day because of the weather.
Hey, man, this is a great place to play basketball, Piscataway, New Jersey, man. Why would you want to leave here?
You did. You went to Villanova.
Hey.
There's the whistle off the dribble, and Kubion. David Kubion also played at St. Benedict's in New Jersey. He's out of Venezuela. And we're going to the bonus now, 1-on-1 situation. And Mike Coburn is at the line.
You're talking about Kubion. You're talking about a guy who played at St. Benedict's. A lot of New Jersey talent on the floor. And Kubion, he's a guy who comes in the game, gives Marquette another guard. I mean, just think about it. You got James, you have McNeil, you have Kubion, and then you also have Maurice Acker, who can all put pressure on you. I mean, just no let up.
Coburn, a 63% shooter, knocks down both from the stripe. Now, Kubion, we mentioned there's 3 players playing Division I basketball right now from Venezuela. 2 of them are in this ball game right now, Kubion and, of course, Echenique. Rivas Vasquez from Maryland, the third. Dominique James misfires, battle for the rebound. The 2 bigs for Rutgers had it. And it's going to be a jump ball, possession arrow, again pointing the other way. Rutgers basketball.
And you look at the guys from St. Benedict's, Coach Dan Hurley doing a great job over there at St. Benedict's. You see Burke, Kubion, and Echenique. And I tell you, man, good high school basketball here in New Jersey. St. Benedict's, St. Patrick's High School, St. Anthony's, all very close to each other. I check out a lot of the guys before they come to the Big East. Big talent here in New Jersey.
You'd mentioned St. Anthony's going undefeated, 32-0 last year, the #1 team in the country. St. Benedict's right behind, #2 in the country. So you have 1 and 2 nationally. Looks pretty impressive. Coburn with the basketball. Here's Rosario coming off the screen. High 3, a little bit shy. Another shot clock possession as Coburn chases it down.
Just to see the intensity of Marquette, just not giving Rutgers any air to breathe.
Oh, look at Chandler off the dribble. Here's a big-time recruit coming in. He gets rejected. Rosario, the biggest recruit, the first McDonald's All-American. That's kind of interesting. You mentioned all this talent in Jersey, and Rosario is actually the first McDonald's player to come here.
And I mean, watch right here. Watch the block here. Guys trying to get back. Here comes Rosario with the steal. And watch the hurdle. I mean, Rutgers track team, look out. Maybe you have a guy right here on the hardwood.
I think he'll stick to hoops. Matthews, look at the feet inside. Beautiful. Missed the shot. Echenique pulls down the rebound. Here comes Rutgers. Down by 8 inside 2 minutes. Deep 3. Rosario rattles out. Offensive stick back goes. And Corey Chandler has 12 points down.
And I think that's a good shot by Rosario. And Chandler comes in. And this is what I was talking about. Marquette letting the Scarlet Knights hang around. And now this rat crowd is getting busy.
6-0 run now for Rutgers. Dominique James, 5'11", half hook. Nice shot.
James always seems very cool, very collected. Doesn't get frustrated. Out of Indiana.
Rosario on the baseline finds the open man. Chandler, he's got the hot hand. Good box out inside by NJ. NJ actually gets charged with the foul. Well, coming up at halftime, we'll check the Big East Wire, Big East news and notes, and of course we'll have the first half highlights and stats here from the rack. Minute 15 to go before the first 20 minutes goes in the books. It's now 32-24, Marquette by 8, and they're going to the strike. Looked like NJ had position that time, John.
Yeah, I'm a little bewildered by that call right there. It seemed as if he was in front of the defender, but you know that's why we're up here in the booth and we don't have on the striped shirts, because I tell you, a very tough job.
Fred Hill was at Villanova, your alma mater, when they made those runs with the good guards, as you were, of course. And he brought up the point. He said, you know, those guys, Foy and the gang, they didn't really taste the NCAAs until their junior year. And then they had that nice run as juniors and seniors. As we take another look at it here to see if we have the right shooter. Again, I'm not sure if that was because Njai had pretty good position on Hazel.
Yeah, I don't know if there was an elbow thrown or something, but we seem to have missed it. And this angle, from this angle, I really not sure what the call was.
After he had control of the ball, maybe they did call him with the elbow. It wasn't very flagrant or egregious, but that right arm did come out just a little bit.
But you know, Mike, back to the point that you were making about the Villanova guards, you're right. When those guys were there, Alan Ray, Randy Foy, these guys, you know, they struggled their first couple of years, and there has to be some hope to guys like Rosario, to guys like Chandler. You know, they're building something here. Chandler in his sophomore year, Rosario as a freshman. So you're gaining that experience. You're playing in this rugged Big East Conference, and that experience is going to come back to help you when you're, juniors and seniors.
Well, Rosario said he's a Jersey guy. He says, you know, why not be different? Why not be a part of history? It's kind of a roll of the dice, but it pays off.
Some guys want to step up and meet the challenge. Some guys don't. You have to admire him for that.
Off the dribble, Rosario rattles it in. So Mike Rosario has 6 points in the first half now for him. Inside a minute to go.
And that's the thing about Rosario. Some people want to label him as a shooter, but I've seen enough of Rutgers this year. He can penetrate and get to the rim as well. And right there, another move.
Yeah, that was an aggressive move by Jimmy Butler.
And just the penetration right here. You see James with the dish and Butler with the finish. And James showing you, you know, he's changed his game this year. And I think if he wants to play at the next level, has to be a distributor. And he's doing a good job this year at that.
Njai with the rebound. Njai was charged with that foul. That's his second. As we approach 35 seconds to go in the first half. 35-26. There's the spin. Coburn. Nice move. Looked like he was inside the land of the Giants. He had nowhere to go, but somehow he found the bucket.
And that's good patience by Coburn. He gets in the lane, uses the pivot, doesn't rush. Looked like a big guy down there in the paint.
Final 10 seconds of the first half. Marquette, last shot, Matthews. Open shot, Jimmy Butler. Bring it up. Jimmy Butler, that is a 2-ball. Jimmy Butler now starting to come alive. He has 7 points. And we played 20 minutes, 37-28. Let's take a look at our Star Watch update, John.
And you're looking here, McNeil really not getting it done tonight. Only 2 points, but the other guys are picking it up. And Rosario 0 for 6 from the three-point line, but still has 6 points. We're going to see if both of these guys can pick it up in the second half.
What kind of adjustments in the locker room for the coaches, John?
Well, I think for Marquette, you're going to have to see a little more intensity because you want to put the Scarlet Knights away. And for Rutgers, you're going to have to find a way to get Rosario some looks and also to post Echenique up in the paint and get him some buckets.
Well, Buzz Williams heads for that Marquette locker room, up 37-28. Halftime coming up. Wes Matthews just saw the big smile on his face as he sat on the floor. He's 5 for 5 shooting. And, of course, McNeil coming out that game against Cincinnati where he was 7 for 7 from three-point territory. And you look at the score, 37-28. And we talked at halftime about the fact that the turnovers subsided somewhat for Rutgers, but I guess they kind of dug a hole early, and really 37-28, they could be down worse.
Yeah, and it's their inability of somebody else besides Corey Chandler to score the basketball. I mean, nobody else has more than 6 points, and somebody else has to step up.
Look at that, huh? Nice. A little touch pass by Dominique James, and Dwight Burke down with 8 points, John.
And I'm impressed with James. I'm impressed with Burke as well, and I think James doing a good job this year orchestrating the offense and just looking like a true point guard now.
Njai throws it off the foot of Dominique James. It stays down here with Rutgers.
Watch here. He comes on the curl, gets inside, keeps his head up, dishes it to Burke for the jam.
Well, Burke's going to have a big game. This is the place to have it, of course. He played at St. Benedict, so it's kind of a homecoming. I'm sure has some family and friends watching the game. He's got 8 points. Burke comes in averaging 2 points in about 19 minutes a game. 39-28. Rutgers trying to snap a 3-game skid. This is Farmer with the basketball. 2 seconds. Chandler pulls back. Got the shot off, doesn't go. Echenique for the offensive rebound, and he's fouled.
And I think right there, Chandler pulls up for the jumper. I think he has one dribble. He can take it to the rim, get a little bit closer for that jumper. But Echenique right there, able to be Mr. Clean and clean things up right there in the paint.
Dwight Burke picks up his 3rd foul. Echenique goes to the line. He's shooting 66.
And I like Echenique. I think he brings toughness to the Scarlet Knight front line. Got 15 points against Ryder. He's 3rd in the conference in rebounds, 2nd in blocks among the nation's freshmen. And he's shooting 60% from the field, so you got to feed the big guy.
He's 9 for 9 from the stripe against UConn. Knocks down both. He's got 6 now. in the ball game. 6 points, 6 rebounds. And Rutgers gets it under 10 again at 9, 39-30. McNeil saw the opening and he takes it. Boy, look at Echenique. But Burke comes up with a basketball. And it goes off of Echenique's leg, but no, they're going to say Burke dribbled off his foot. It's going to be Rutgers basketball. Boy, good hustle by Echenique for a 260-pounder.
Hey, showed some quick feet. Very agile right there on that rebound, and dished it back over his shoulder because he couldn't come down with it cleanly.
260, you're agile and hostile, and you can do that. You've got a bright future. He's got 8 now.
And just like we're talking about, coming out trying to feed a guy who's shooting 60% from the field, he can score if he gets in position.
Matthews with the runner. He's 6 for 6.
And is this guy going to miss tonight? I mean, is Matthews going to miss? He's just really picked up his play. I think he's playing like a first-team All-Big East player right now.
Rosario off the dribble, baseline. Too much traffic down there. Got a little bit too deep. Hayward. A little step back. Nice soft touch for Hayward. Only his second bucket, John.
And that's a good play by Hayward. He had the break, but he didn't have the numbers. So what he did was he slowed down at the free throw line, saw his cutters, and then he made a play.
Hayward coming in with 928 points. Marquette with 3 1,000-point scores. Of course, North Carolina just got their 4th. Ty Lawson joined the 1,000-point club. And you look at Rutgers for that matter, too. J.R. Inman's only 7 points away coming into the ball game from 1,000. And Anthony Farmer was 53 points. So by the end of the season, they'll have 2 more 1,000-point scores.
A lot of guys who've been around and have been scoring points in the Big East for many years. And Inman and Farmer on their way to being in the record books.
10 on the shot clock again for Rutgers. Chandler off the dribble, little runner, doesn't go, rebound. Jimmy Butler. Matthews check. Dominique James open 3, ring it up. He's got 11.
And I tell you, James hasn't been shooting well from the three-point line this year, but he's a guy who can score the basketball. Let's not forget what he did his freshman year here. So you can't leave him open. He will knock down a wide open three.
Biggest lead down for Marquette at 46-32. Rosario telegraphed that one. Matthews knew exactly where he was going with it, trying to get the open baseline jumper to Chandler.
And this is where Rosario's going to have his education. I mean, obviously playing on a real big-time team last year at St. Anthony's, but this is the Big East Conference, and guys are quicker, guys are longer, and, you know, a lot of guys coming from big-time high school programs, so you have to pick up your play when you come to a conference like this, and not as easy to drive baseline or to get an open look.
They say Rosario's a gym rat, though. Figure by the time he even said, you know what, if I'm going to be a piece of history, maybe not this year, but by the end of my sophomore year, we're going to be tough.
And that's how you have to believe that. I mean, I don't think you come here and just accept it. What a steal by Mr. James with the finger roll.
He's got 13. He's averaging 11 points. Comes in with about 11 points, 5 assists a game. A 9-0 run now for Marquette. And there's a timeout on the floor. 36 seconds away from the TV timeout. But we're going to take it a step away right now. 48-32. Marquette on top. Back at Rutgers, Mike Rosario just missed the baseline turnaround jumper. So you haven't missed any scoring. Dominique James with a runner down the lane, finds the open man, kicks it back, ring it up. It's a 3 for Jarrell McNeil.
And, you know, that was the most impressive play all night that I've seen from Dominique James. He gets in the lane right there and leaves his feet, but had the presence of mind to know that a defender dropped off. McNeil wide open on the wing for a 3.
Rosario coming off that screen, a little bit too strong. Follows the shot nicely. Well, you can tell when a young man is frustrated. On a good night, he won't miss that follow-up very often. Look at Dominique James. Looked like Ernie DiGregorio down there against the Russians. You probably weren't even born then, were you? Ernie who?
Yeah, you lost me on that.
Well, Dominique James, he's 5'11", But as John said, he's playing some pretty mean point guard right now. Dominic James with 13 points. And he's dishing as well. McNeil with the 3. Of this team, you'd never know that they lack a big guy in the middle.
Oh yeah, but James, man, he's been getting it done all night. Let's not forget about this guy. He's orchestrating this offense, and let's not forget that he can score the basketball as well. But I'm impressed with the way he's dishing the basketball this year. As you see on this pass right here, you see Rosario help. He dishes out to McNeil for the jumper, and one of the best thieves in the conference. Don't forget that he can steal the basketball. Mr. James, 13 points, 5 assists, no turnovers on the night.
No turnovers. That's very, very impressive. He went over 1,600 points tonight. Number 9 all-time in scoring at Marquette, and he's on pace. He could set the record by the end of his career. Could be the scoring king. J.R. Inman 7 points away from 1,000 back on the floor. He was scoreless in the first half. Inman saying this is the most talent we've had as far as the combination, and the chemistry will be key. But as far as big guys and perimeter guys, this is the best he's seen since arriving here 4 years ago.
I think when you're building a program like what Fred Hill's doing at Rutgers, it's about learning how to win. And a lot of times, even with the talent, guys have to learn how in the second half to keep it going and to win basketball games when it comes down to the second half, down the stretch. And this is something that Rosario and some of the young guys like Chandler are going to learn over the years. And you see Marquette offensively shooting 60%, only 6 turnovers on the night.
Chandler picked up his 3rd foul. He had 12 first half points, yet to score in the second. Hayward deep outside, rebound. It's Chandler. Rutgers had won 5 of 6 before losing 3 straight. Foul on the dribble going against Marquette.
Marquette foul number 32, Lazar Hayward.
Goes against Lazar Hayward. That's going to be number 3 on him.
I think Hayward's going to come out for a second. Coach Buzz Williams is going to take him out and insert Butler into the lineup. And Hayward, very impressive this year as well, averaging about 17 points a game.
Yeah, he went from 6.5 to 13 to 17. And it's amazing when you look at his improvement, what he's done, not only on the floor, but in the weight room. He's really strong.
He's gotten stronger. And the thing about Hayward is that he's a matchup problem for a lot of the foremen. You know, Marquette plays a little bit small, but he can face up. He can shoot the basketball. You know, he's shooting 37% from the three-point line, 50% from the field. And, you know, he can do a lot of different things. He had 25 points against Marquette's crosstown rival, Wisconsin-Milwaukee. So he's a guy, you know, he's improved, and he has another year.
Rosario with 7 points, his first in the second half. Rosario said he's put on about 8 pounds, so he's up to about 176. Looking at him in practice, didn't look quite that heavy, but he says now he's about almost 180 now. It's amazing what you can do in the weight room as far as putting weight on.
That's right.
Knocks down both. Rosario with 8, comes in averaging 17.
If you're Rutgers, you have to start to try to make a run right here. Down this many points, you got to try to force some turnovers, put some pressure on the basketball like Farmer's trying to do right there. But then he picks up the chippy, and that's going to be his 4th.
So 4 on him now. Farmer, the senior out of Millville, New Jersey.
It puts Farmer in a tough position right now. They have to guard quick guards like James and McNeil, and he really has to stay on the floor. But you have to try to apply some pressure to come back in this ball game, so he's going to be at a disadvantage now.
James finds the open man, Jimmy Butler, and he's fouled. He's going to the line. He'll be shooting 2. Well, you're right. You're exactly right. Dominic James, his court awareness has improved so much from the freshman year. The freshman year, he had the rock in his hand. He was taking it to the right.
Right. He was a guy. He came out of high school, was a big-time scorer, and took the ball to the basket. And even his sophomore year, made some bad decisions with the basketball, I would say. But you can tell that he's really worked on orchestrating an offense, and he's learned this game, and he's setting things up for Marquette.
Well, tonight's game has been produced and distributed by ESPN Regional Television Incorporated. 14:04 to go, 52-34. Jimmy Butler now looking for his 9th point, and he's got it. Again, we go back to his junior college days, averaged 18 points and 8 rebounds. He had offers from Kentucky, Mississippi State, Iowa State.
I'm sure he's, with the way the program's going for Marquette, happy with his decision. You see Marquette pushing Rutgers way out on the perimeter.
Farmer, boy, he was determined to score that time as he took it right down the lane. His first bucket in the second half, he has 4.
And Farmer's strong. He went in there like a bull, and just a bad defensive possession right there by Rutgers, leaving Matthews wide open.
How about the quick trigger, though, by Dominic James on that pass inside, huh?
I mean, you got to be impressed. This guy's, I'm very impressed with James. Obviously, such a big-time player as a freshman. A lot of people had him going to the NBA. But you see right here, recognizes that Inman fell asleep, dishes it right to Matthews. A lot of people had Dominic James maybe leaving after his freshman year. He was picked as the top point guard coming back in the country as a sophomore. Didn't play up to the same ability the next 2 years, but right now, the way he's playing basketball, I like the way he's playing basketball right now. He's very efficient. He's dishing the ball. Looks like a point guard, and in this league, at his size, you have to be able to distribute. If you want to play on the next level, whether it's NBA or overseas, at 5'10", maybe 6 foot, you have to be able to dish the basketball and cut down on the turnovers. He's done that.
Yeah, he went from Rookie of the Year to first team All-Big East to second team All-Big East, so it's going to be interesting to see how he wraps up his senior year. But you mentioned the NBA. He went to the NBA pre-draft camp down in Orlando after his sophomore season. Did not have a good camp, but he came right back to Milwaukee and didn't pout, didn't sulk. You didn't hear much about it. He just got back to business, which was impressive.
Yeah, a lot of guys would have hung their heads and felt sorry for themselves. Now Mr. James, and just continue to play basketball. One of my top point guards in the Big East.
There's James with the ball now. 6 assists, no turnovers, 13 points. Very productive game as we approach the 13-minute mark. James Butler. James says, I'll take a 3. It's funny. The Big East Media Day, he says, you know what? He kind of smiled. He was talking to Mike Kelly. He said, I don't really shoot the 3 that well, but he certainly takes a lot of them as we take a look at your top point guards.
We're talking about James, but there's some other point guards in this league. Johnny Flynn, one of my favorite guards in the league. Levance Fields, we all know what he can do. Don't sleep on Torrey Jackson. A.J. Price is starting to get his legs under him. He's coming back from that injury, and Scotty Reynolds went for 40 points last night, so he can burn you.
Scotty Reynolds, is he more comfortable at the 2, do you think, or is he a pure point guard?
Well, I'm not sure if he's a pure point guard. He's more of a combo guard, but for Villanova, I think he's best with the ball in his hands. And he can score the basketball, but he's also been dishing the basketball, kind of like James this year for Villanova.
Coburn looking for Njai inside. You said don't sleep on Jackson. I remember early last year, Jackson could not shoot a lick. By the end of the season, he was pretty productive with the shot.
Oh, yeah, and his percentage has come up. I covered the game the other night on the radio, and, he's starting to shoot the basketball. I think he's shooting about 40% from the three-point range, so, and he's taking efficient shots. Talked to Mike Bray about that. He said he doesn't force.
12.5 minutes to go. 55-36. Coburn stuck in traffic down on the baseline. Here comes Marquette.
Watch the little fella get up. Watch him get up.
Dominic James with another flush. He's got 15 points, 6 assists, no turnovers.
Hey, the most athletic point guard in the Big East is Mr. James. I've seen him catch a couple of alley-oops.
Pettis with a nice assist to Njai with the flush.
Njai says, hey, little man, this is how you really dunk it. This is how you flush it 2 hands and hang on the rim.
Njai comes in averaging 6 points. John, that's his first field goal. They said in December against some of the lesser teams or the smaller schools, he was actually working on his outside step back 14-footer. Jimmy Butler gets the charge, so they wave off the basket.
Well, when we talk about Njai, you're going to see him. He's a defensive guy. It's not going to be a much offense from him.
Well, Dominic James out of Richmond, Indiana, playing his senior year, having a good season, having a fantastic game. 15 points, 6 assists, no turnovers. Well, the numbers with 11:50 to go, and John, you mentioned that Tennessee and Dayton knocked off Marquette. The only 2 losses for the Golden Eagles. Both times Marquette was out-rebounded. They're +7 on the glass, which is pretty impressive considering they don't have a real legitimate big man. But they're getting beat on the boards tonight. So Rutgers continues to fight hard on the boards.
Yeah, Rutgers still going to the rim, but I think the turnovers have hurt Rutgers. And, you know, when you give the ball to Marquette and they get out in transition, and they're a small team, so they're not going to be a great rebounding team, but they, like I said, they swarm you like bees and they create havoc, and that's been the problem for the Scarlet Knights tonight.
It seems like late in the first half they were getting more open shots, or finding shots anyway. They're having a tough time here in the second half finding a shot as Coburn. Inman with the offensive rebound and gets the bucket, his first. J.R. Inman, the leading scorer the last 2 years for this team. Inman, of course, suspended to open up the season. Has it been an adjustment for him? I mean, we talked about that in the first half, that he's maybe not content with 6 points a game, but it's all about winning.
Yeah, it is about winning, but I mean, I would think you would have to be a little disappointed to not, you know, still be a starter. But you know, it's a senior year. You can't hang your head. You have to go out and play basketball. And Rutgers is bringing in some talented guys that he's going to be passing the torch to. So help these guys learn as well.
I asked Fred Hill if he was still in his doghouse maybe a little bit. He said, no, he's never really been in the doghouse, even though he was suspended. He paid his dues, but the younger guys are just playing better right now.
Yeah, the younger guys are talented. I mean, Echenique is a true four, and Rosario is a talent, even though he's not shooting the ball well tonight. I mean, they're building a program here, and, you know, you have to give some of these young guys a chance to get out there and play.
Ron Griffin on the floor now. Well, there's some good hustle that time.
And right now, Rutgers making a little run, 8-0 run right here. Marquette getting a little bit sloppy.
Earl Pettis, the sophomore of Philadelphia, gets his first bucket.
And by no means is this game over. It's only a 13-point lead. I mean, and Rutgers is at home, so.
James. So 3 rattles out. Boy, Pettis coming off the bench and getting some productivity out of him. Throws it out of bounds. Now it comes back to Marquette basketball.
And that's the play right there. If you're Pettis, you want to pull it out. You don't have the angle right there. You're making a little bit of a run. Pull it out. You got the steal. Set up the offense.
Now Marquette riding a 5-game winning streak. Wins over Villanova and Cincinnati in the Big East. And then they take on West Virginia Saturday. That's 12 noon Eastern, the Big East game of the week. And West Virginia coming off a 61-55 loss to UConn. Well, the Mountaineers, Bob Huggins won't be happy because they were out-rebounded by 19, and they were plus 10 on the glass going into that game.
Well, rebounding is one of the things that UConn really does. They go to the rim, and, you know, West Virginia, I have some good young guys there. You know, I like Ebanks. I like Darryl the Truck Bryant. He's out of New York City, out of St. Raymond's. Saw him a little bit in high school, so they have a bright future ahead of them right now as well.
Wherever Huggins goes, it seems like he wins, though. It doesn't seem like it. He does win.
The most intimidating coach in the Big East as far as size and scowl on the sideline. I wouldn't want to be in his locker room after a loss.
Well, his Mountaineers will be in Milwaukee taking on this Marquette team on Saturday. Hayward off the dribble. Doesn't go. Rebound. Chandler. 57-44. Chance to cut it. Chandler stops, pops, scores his first bucket. Second half, he's got 14. A 10-0 run now by the Scarlet Knights.
And like I said, this game is not over. You know, Rutgers is at home, and this crowd can get behind them. And down 11 points, Marquette got a little sloppy with the basketball. Watch Chandler. This is what Chandler's good at. He has to get to the rim. He can shake and bake. See him limping a little bit here, but he'll shake that off. He's out of Newark, New Jersey. He's a tough guy.
Well, January 7th has been good to the Scarlet Knights. They're 3-0 on this date. Right now, only down 11, 57-46. It looked like Marquette was going to run away with this in the second half.
You see a 10-0 run right here. And if I'm the Scarlet Knights, I'm trying to get the ball in Chandler's hand. And if I'm Chandler, I'm taking it to the rim. I'm trying to draw some contact. And on the other side, for Marquette, you have to continue to run your offense. Some ill-advised shots. Some guys starting to fall in love with the three a little bit.
That's a good point you bring up now with Chandler, because with 9 minutes to go, they do need somebody to take over offensively. They need that go-to guy. And Chandler seems to be wearing that hat tonight with 14 points. Matthews Another runner, another bucket for Wes Matthews. He's got 16.
I mean, and I thought the first shot he made maybe was just a lucky shot, but that seems to be his shot, that teardrop. He gets in the lane, a little runner. Is he practicing that shot?
Yeah, something he's been doing probably since the 6th or 7th grade. He's just very comfortable with it. I'm sure you had your favorite shot that you took with you from junior high into high school, then to Villanova.
Any shot was my favorite shot.
And you were a shooting guy. Did you like the corners or the wings more?
I like the top of the key and the wings. I could let it fly.
McNeil, Akron and McNeil, a couple of high school buddies there. And Jerome McNeil with 7 points in the ball game.
Can you imagine in high school these two guys pushing up, picking you up full court? Can you imagine them jumping, running and jumping you, turning you as a point guard?
Yeah, Akron was averaging about 18 points a game in high school at Hillcrest. They were the #1 team in Illinois. He went to Ball State and then transferred into Marquette. A little spin move. Chandler trying to get something going. He walked with the basketball. Another turnover, 7:44 to go. And Wesley Matthews now with that little runner John talked about out of his repertoire. 61-46. Matthews now 16 points in the ball game. Akron McNeil, another bucket, Marquette. Back at the rack, along with John Celestin, Mike Gleason here, 61-46 now, 7:44 to go. You look at Corey Chandler, 12 in the first half. Now, he's only a sophomore. To some players, we said he has to step up. Is there a fine line trying to do too much and take it too deep here?
Yeah, well, I think right here, you know, sometimes Chandler's very good off the dribble. He's quick with the basketball. Sometimes he can just beat his man and maybe take the pull-up jumper or dish the basketball. Sometimes tries to make the spectacular play. And I think if he works on that by making sound plays, and it's something I had to learn as a freshman. You know, coming out of Piscataway High School where I was able to kind of go off the dribble and do my thing. But you learn when you get in this conference that guys are better, they're going to step up. And sometimes the sound play is a little bit better than the spectacular play. But he will get it.
Is that a scary feeling when you're a high school star and you find out that the guys are a little bit quicker defensively and your shots aren't not going to be as open, as long, and you start thinking, geez, maybe it's not going to be so easy up here?
Well, you know, that's something I learned. I know in high school I used to go baseline a lot. When I got to the Big East, bigger guys stepping up, it's difficult. As you see Marquette shoot 55%, Rutgers 41. You know, sometimes you have to learn to stop and pop, or, you know, sometimes pull it back out or back dribble. These are things you learn by playing, by being out on the basketball court, and I'm sure Corey Chandler will learn that as his career progresses.
Well, speaking of young players, Mike Rosario's back on the basketball floor for Rutgers now with 7:28 to go. This is Coburn with the basketball. Coburn, once last year, he was named the National Freshman of the Week. Little back door, and Pettis gets his second bucket. Nice play.
And a nice pass by Inman right there to read that.
Extra pass. Here comes Rutgers. Rosario goes the distance. A little goaltending called on McNeil. And the bucket will go to Rosario. Puts him in double figures at 10. And we're back to 11 again, 61-50.
And that's a good play by Rosario. Watch him put on the Jets right here. Gets past McNeil, who's a pretty quick guy in his own right. And McNeil goes up and catches it on the rim. And this rack trying to come alive. Rutgers only down 11 points.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. It's starting to get a little more vocal in here. The students, of course, are still out, and this is not a full house. Sits about 8,000 people. I would say there's about probably 4,500 here. But it's starting to pick up now with 6:43 to go. The foul goes against Rosario. That's going to be his second. James. Hayward takes it in and just kind of muscled that one in.
And a nice move by Hayward to get that over the long outstretched arm of Njai.
63-50. I noticed James wasn't in a big hurry. Are they going to start eating some clock maybe? Or is it too early to do that? Well, how about Inman, huh? That's a free ball. He's got 5, so he's 2 points away from 1,000.
Well, he's a senior. He's been around for a while, and you see him getting hyped, trying to get this rack into the game here in Piscataway, New Jersey.
Matthews, there's a steal. Rosario Trying to take it the distance, and he's stripped. It goes out of bounds. It'll be Rutgers basketball. A nice defensive play by Marquette that time.
Way to get back by Marquette. They're not going to try to let this game go lightly.
Rosario working for the shot. Boy, Marquette that gets down quickly. Njai with the foul, and Matthews will be going to the line shooting a couple. Matthews with the hot hand for Marquette.
Now this is a bad shot by Rosario right here. Right here, you maybe take 2 dribbles and try to take the shot, but I think right there you pull that back out. You're starting to make a run, and you see him gambling on the steal, and then you force Njai into the foul right there.
Well, that kind of goes back to what Fred Hill told us earlier, that sometimes he tries to do too much.
And that's the good thing about Rosario is he's talented. He can score a basketball. The bad thing is that he's young, and he's out there on the floor where he's the go-to guy, and he's learning on the fly as well. So a tough job for Coach Fred Hill, but you have to leave the young guy out there on the floor.
1 for 2 this time for Matthews. He has 17 in the ball game.
And right now, Chandler and Farmer, the veteran, is going to come back in the game, and Chandler as well.
Earl Pettis, the sophomore of Philadelphia, heads for the bench. He gave Fred Hill some productive minutes, though, coming off the bench.
And I think Inman has also done a good job here in the clutch.
Five and a half minutes to go. 64-53. Rosario, deep corner, ring it up. That's a 3. Well, Fred said, just keep shooting the ball. That one was a little more natural, unforced.
Now, those are the type of shots that Rosario can make. And I'm telling you, man, this guy, Mr. Matthews, is getting to the rim with ease.
Farmer doesn't go. Offensive rebound. Inman puts him over 1,000.
And what about the way Inman has come in here and energized this Rutgers team? Doing a great job tonight for the senior.
James hop, skip, and a jump. Missed his shot. Here comes the Scarlet Knights. Bucket cuts it to 6. 3, Rosario. Make it 5. Another 3 ball. He's got 16. It's 66-61 with 4:34 to go.
And we talked about Chandler and his decision-making right there. A very unselfish play. He could have took that layup, saw Rosario in the corner, and dishes it to him.
A 25-9 run. J.R. Inman, 36th member now of the 1,000-point club.
Inman right here fighting for the rebound, rips it away, and finishes for his 1,000-point. Now watch this play. Dishes it right there to Rosario. Unselfish play. The freshman hits it in the corner. And what? Look at the fans. Look at the dancing. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Well, we're just told that the official attendance 4,112, so the building is about half full, but you never know it now as the Scarlet Knights make a little comeback. Down 5. And J.R. Inman gets that 7th point, putting him in the 1,000-point club.
And if you're Coach Buzz Williams, you have to be a little concerned right now for your team here. I mean, a big lead to surrender it. This is something that you're going to have to work on, especially against the top level teams in the Big East Conference. I mean, you have to try to put teams away in this conference. You cannot let guys hang around. And we talked about this earlier, letting the Scarlet Knights hang around, and now this is a ball game.
James with 15. Matthews with 19. Hayward averaging 17. He only has 6. The stick back goes. McNeil gets the bucket.
And now you see Marquette switching to a matchup zone here.
Farmer, count it. Wait a minute, Fred Hill. They did count it, didn't they? I haven't seen him wave it off yet. I count the basket.
The bucket counts, but Farmer may have fouled out on that play. A tremendous play by James. You see him driving the teeth of the defense, and James in position. Good call by the ref. They're going to count the basket, but a tremendous loss for the Scarlet Knights. Their senior leader, their point guard, Mr. Farmer, will have to take a seat. Farmer from South Jersey, St. Augustine Prep.
Three-year starter here, the MVP of last year, leads with 6 points and 5 fouls with 4 minutes and 3 seconds to go in the ball game. Golf fans and golf pros, the registration for the 2009 ESPN National Golf Challenge is already underway for courses and teams in the gross, net, and new 55 and older division. For more information, log on to espngolf.com. The Scarlet Knights of Rutgers, 9-6, 0-2, looking for that first Big East victory. And of course, Pittsburgh, the #1 team in the country, came in here on New Year's Eve and got out with a 78-72 victory in that ball game. The Scarlet Knights shot 61% in the first half, 41% for the game, and certainly showing a lot of life here late in the second half.
We're going to see here again. Farmer lets the ball go before the charge. So, and Fred Hill was emphatic on the sideline about the bucket counting. And
I think the confusion, the public address announcer announced Chandler and not Farmer. Coburn checking into the ball game now for Rutgers.
Get a look at Coach Buzz Williams trying to hydrate himself here. Sure, he's sweating on that sideline.
I'll just think, we talk about the prowess of James, McNeil, and Matthews. Well, next year it might be Hayward and a bunch of freshmen in that lineup. They got a really good recruiting class coming in, but the one bad thing about having some good seniors is you have to say goodbye to those guys sometime.
Yeah, and it's tough to win in this conference with a whole bunch of freshmen. I mean, this is a conference where you need some veteran leadership.
Sawyer almost took off of the ball before he knew where he wanted to go. Chandler, step back. A little bit shy. Dominique James runs it down for Marquette.
Another tough shot.
McNeil. Looks like his legs went under that one. Might be getting a little bit tired. They play a lot of minutes.
And that's a good decision right there by Chandler. Did not force it. No numbers there on the break. That's the type of decisions he has to make to improve.
Rutgers down 5, 68-63 as we approach the 3-minute mark. Coburn.
And this is where they miss Anthony Farmer right here. Nobody to really set up the offense and run the show.
Too much dribbling that time. Matthews will flush and convert. He's got 21.
And Matthews having a tremendous night.
You can't get much better. Wes Matthews comes in shooting 51%.
I mean, he hasn't missed a shot all night.
Big East records 11 for 11. He's 10 for 10.
I mean, he may want to take 2 more shots and then don't shoot again. But you see right here, the strip, and this has been happening all night for the Scarlet Knights off the basketball. Guys have come over and helped and stripped the ball out of the guard's hands. And once you let these guys get out and you ignite the break with those turnovers, it's a wrap.
No, Marquette came in with 116 steals, averaging about an 8 per game. It's interesting, last year they were 8th in rebounding out of the 16 teams of the Big East. Nobody in the top 15, but it's amazing. I came into the game tonight thinking it's going to be interesting to watch this team. I've seen them play on television, but you know, they're +7 on the glass. They just work so well together.
Yeah, I mean, they rebound by committee here at Marquette. I mean, you know, you don't have a lot of big guys, so what you do is you just send 4 or 5 guys to the glass, and you try to rebound that way. They're not going to overpower teams because they're just not that big, especially when you have the big trees in this conference, like a Khabib at UConn or Anawaku at Syracuse and Blair and Pittsburgh, guys inside that are huge.
You know, speaking of bodies, Yeah, Rutgers, as they build the building blocks, that's Jonathan Mitchell from Mount Vernon High School in New York. Two-time state champion, all-time leading scorer, broke Ben Gordon's record. He's 6'7", good body. He's sitting out this year after transferring from Florida. So he was a freshman when they won their second national championship, so he will be a big addition for Fred Hill next year.
Yeah, and you insert him on that front line, and now you have Echenike there, you have Njai coming back for his senior year, and you insert him, you have a formidable front line there that can really do some damage in the Big East.
See, 23 points, 10 for 10.
I mean, if I'm Matthews, I need 2 more shots. Break the record. I'm not shooting. I'm not shooting anymore.
Well, Fred Hill said the learning curve with this young basketball team can be steep at times, but some of these young guys say, hey, we're going to win. Why can't we win this year? Rosario, wow, he thought about it. Bad play by the rookie right there with 2:27 to go.
And again, without having Farmer on the court, a decision maker, somebody that can get guys shots, penetrating the lane. You put the hands in guys like Rosario and Coburn, who are really 2 guards. It's going to be difficult.
Boy, that is so true, huh? You can never overestimate the importance of a good point guard. Hayward takes it in. It's rejected that time by Njai. Rutgers on the move. Rosario, little stutter step, takes it on the baseline. Forced it, I thought, but it goes in.
And a tough shot right there by Rosario. And right now, the Rutgers Scarlet Knights don't have the time to really take good shots. They're going to have to force and get to the rim. And Marquette's going to try to hold this ball out and eat up some time on the ticker.
Minute 35 to go. 5-point ball game. McNeil with the left hand off the dribble. He's fouled. He'll be going to the line. So a minute 26 to go. We're going to take a timeout here from the rack. Marquette trying to get to 3-0. Rutgers looking for their first Big East victory. They're down 5, 70-65. Tonight's Big East game has been brought to you by Virtual Wallet from PNC. Visit pncvirtualwallet.com. And we're back inside the rack. A minute 26 to go. 5-point ball game. And former athletic director at Rutgers, Bob Mulcahy, still hanging around watching his Scarlet Knights play. That's pretty impressive. Showing up.
Showing you that he still bleeds red and white. Showing up here at the rack.
He did some good things as the athletic director here at Rutgers.
And the basketball program's improved. The football program has come a long way over the years.
And it's interesting, Fred Hill was saying, even though Greg Schiano has done a super job building that football program, people say, well, it's a lot tougher to build a football program. Fred said, I don't know in the Big East if that's true. I mean, that'll be a tough argument. Of course, you have to build a defense and an offensive line and get some skilled position. But Fred says it's tough in the Big East because you have to have players that are going to play in the pros, or at least potentially play in the pros.
Yeah, you need 1 or 2 guys in your team that have the potential to play in the NBA here. I mean, if you look at all the top teams like UConn, Louisville, some of the other strong teams, Pittsburgh, they all have guys that can go in the first or second round of the NBA draft. So, you know, in this conference, you need some heavy hitters.
Chandler takes it in the paint. Little hop, skip, and a jump, and Chandler scores again. He's got 16 points in the ball game, and it's back to 72-67. It's a 5-pointer.
And I think if Chandler continues to play aggressive, if he continues to just attack the basket with 1 or 2 dribbles and take care of the basketball, he can be a good player in this league.
We're inside the rack in Piscataway, New Jersey, the home of the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers, as Rutgers takes on number 15, Marquette, along with John Celestan, the former Villanova sharpshooter. I'm Mike Gleason. Great to have you with us. John was correct me if I'm wrong, the first player taken in the second round by the Los Angeles Lakers.
That's right. 30th pick. Had the opportunity to play with Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, Robert Horry, Derek Fisher, some big veterans, A.C. Green, Glenn Rice. Had a great time out there in Los Angeles, learned a lot, and won an NBA championship ring.
You know, I was once the first player taken off the playgrounds one time. I'll never forget that day.
Hey, basketball is basketball.
Here we go. Minute 14 to go. Marquette, number 15 in the country, 13-2, 2-0 in the Big East. up by 5. McNeil. Those last 2 free throws by McNeil put him in double figures with 11 points. He's averaging 18. James. There's a reach and the possession error. No, there's going to be a foul called on Rutgers.
And I think Rutgers had a chance to tie Mr. Matthews up right there, but they reached in, hit the arm. But that was a good opportunity to trap and try to get a jump ball, even though it would have went to Marquette because they have the arrow.
Bonus 1-on-1 situation now. Matthews with 21, missed the shot. Remember, he's 10 for 10 from the field. Big East record is 11 of 11. Aki Morak of Syracuse, Rob Hodgson of Rutgers, and Brian Shorter of Pittsburgh, 11 for 11. Pettis deep in the corner. Wow, J.R. Inman, offensive stick back. He's got 9, and we have a 3-point ball game. You know, Mike Rosario was saying after the North Carolina and the Pittsburgh game, you take UConn out of the equation. He said, you know, we've been motivated by the way we played against these big schools. I think it's very impressive how they did not quit when they were down in the second half here.
Oh, yeah, you have to give them credit. I mean, they're not quitting here. They didn't quit against North Carolina. They played hard against Pittsburgh. You know, sometimes your record doesn't always indicate the effort. You know, and I think the Scarlet Knights, you know, even if they lose this ball game, you cannot come into the rack and think you have a gimme or think you're going to just win a basketball game, because they can play with anybody in this league.
You know, Marquette took their largest lead with 12:20 left, and Rutgers has been on a roll.
33-18 since then.
73-69. Rosario takes it in the lane and scores. The rookie now with 20.
This is only a 2-point ball game.
There's a reach, and the foul is going to go against J.R. Inman with 34 seconds to go. 73-71, and Marquette will be at the line shooting a bonus. 1-1.
And Mike Rosario just finding a way to score. A little hesitation dribble. Falls down, throws up the floater. Must have learned that on the streets of Jersey City.
I'm sure he did. Hayward, a 79% shooter. Again, 1-1. Marquette by 2. It's the first. He's got 7, 10 under his average of 17. Fred Hill. So this program will be built on toughness, togetherness, hard work, passion, and pride. Right now, after the free throw, they're down by 4 with 34 seconds to go. Rosario, deep 3. Well, John, I know you took a few threes in your day at Villanova, but you can't get much deeper than that 3 right there.
I mean, he shot that one from New York City. Ill-advised shot right there. I think you got to take it to the rim right there. Just too early.
You know, it's tough as Rosario walks back over the bench. Takes a look at his head coach, Fred Hill. He's been tabbed as the savior. And he said, I'm not a savior. He said, Kobe Bryant doesn't make every shot. Michael Jordan didn't make every shot. I'm not going to make every shot. But you're right. I think as he matures, he will start taking some better shots in crucial situations.
Yeah, and savior's too high of a label to put on a guy like Rosario. He was a McDonald's All-American, but he's a guy who's come to Rutgers and is possibly going to draw some other players from New Jersey to come here to Piscataway, exit 9 off the turnpike.
No basket. There's a reach and a foul. It goes against Matthews. So Marquette, a 72% shooter, John, getting it down the stretch at the line. That was the foul to give. Pettis inbounding for Rutgers. 18 seconds to go. Rosario again. Trying to bank it in this time, doesn't go. Fighting for his offensive rebound, and somehow this one goes down.
I mean, you have to give it to the kid. He keeps fighting. He keeps fighting to the end. And most St. Anthony players, the way they play.
That's what Fred Hill was saying earlier today. He said he wants it so badly, and even Rosario said, when I'm not going to make every shot, but you know what? I'm going to give 100% every time I'm on the floor. Rosario just fouled out, picked up his 5th. He had 6 points at halftime. He leaves the ball game with 22.
And you want to continue to recruit guys who come from winning programs. You have so many here in New Jersey, guys that want to win basketball games. You can see the pain on his face right there. And I like to see guys like that who compete. He's not going to do everything correct, but he's going to learn. And Fred Hill continues to bring in guys like Rosario, like Echenike, and guys from the big-time programs here in New Jersey. They're going to compete in this Big East Conference.
Well, in 1989, Kansas knocked off number 2 LSU, number 1 UNLV, and number 25 St. John's in the same week. John Chaney in 95, his Temple Owls played the top 3 in a 4-game span. Rutgers just got through playing the top 3 in a 3-game span.
And I think one of those games they played against Villanova when I was there my freshman year. I remember Temple knocked us off. We were number 2 in the country, and we lost to the Temple Owls at the Spectrum in Philadelphia.
Ooh. Just hearing that, the Spectrum in Philadelphia sounds like a lot of drama. There it is, Carolina, Pittsburgh, Connecticut, Marquette, and Syracuse comes in 14-1, number 9. Of course, the Q's playing tonight. And McNeil had 2 points at halftime. Those 2 free throws, they give him 15 for the ball game now. One of 6 players at Marquette with 1,500 points and 500 rebounds. So right now, at this juncture, do you think McNeil has the brightest future as far as the NFL or the NBA scouts looking at him?
Well, you know, I would think McNeil, you know, is a good player, but you also have to think about Matthews, the way he's playing this year. And I don't think Dominic James is out of the picture right now. You know, a lot of people have, you know, written him off, I think, but I saw some good things from him tonight. I think he has the athleticism and the quickness. I think all 3 guys, you know, are in the conversation.
Well, Chandler knocked down that 3 a little too late. 19 points for Chandler, 7 in the second half. Marquette has made their last 7 free throws to ice this ball game now with 0.4 seconds to go. They're up by 3. Hayward, a 79% shooter at the stripe. Hayward now with 9 points. If he hits this free throw, we'll have the usual 4 in double figures. But Jimmy Butler scoring 9 off the bench for Buzz Williams. That has to be a big added plus. And Hayward